I want to start tonight by talking about the earth. I think the earth carries in it what inspires me. Our connection to it, which is often severed by our technology, it's dampened by our disconnection from what's natural. So for me, to touch clay is to reconnect with what's essentially makes us human. To touch the earth, to be in close proximity with it. So when I touch clay, when I make my work, I'm touching a material that's ancient. Clay comes from some of the most essential elements of the planet. So when I touch it, I'm touching something that's very, very old. So I feel like I'm reconnecting with what makes us who we are on the planet, connects us to the very essential. The figures all sit on these domes, and they're like mounds of earth. They're also like minds or heads. And so the figures come out of them like thoughts or metaphors or visions. And I want the figures to feel as though they are natural, as if the material that they're made out of is essentially what they are. I want limited impact from my own hands. I want the clay to feel natural, to be cracked, to be essentially the way you might find it in the earth. So this connection with the earth is very important to me. The colors are connected to the earth, the shapes, the sensibility of it. The other thing the earth brings us is what we call seasons, although they kind of merge in Southern California. But this idea that there's rhythms and change. We have day, we have night, we have phases of the moon, we have winter and spring and summer and autumn. And each of those seasons brings a different way to live, a different way to think. And so the work is about connecting with these rhythms and these cycles. That I'm different in the spring than I am in the winter. And so this idea of being connected to these rhythms, these essential elements that make our life have meaning. I'm trying to fit that into the work. So I have pieces about autumn, I have pieces about winter, about spring. The work comes out of thinking in those ways. So in the winter, essentially it's quieter. It's a little bit more subdued. Spring is a little more vibrant, a little more action. And for me as an artist, there's two things that has to happen. One is solitude and stillness, and the other is silence. And without those elements happening, I can't get in touch with what the work's about, what the material is saying. I can't hear the material. I can't have a dialogue with what I'm trying to say. So the studio for me is like a sacred space. It's like a space that's separate. It's away from everything else. So when I go there, I have certain rituals of cleaning and preparation. And when I enter into the work, there's a labor involved, but there's also a connection of spirit to the material and to what I'm doing. I find very important. And there's both an inner stillness that I have to find in myself if I want to put it in the work. And hopefully the work has a kind of quietness to it as well. That's what I'm looking for. So they're never portraits. They're not about a person. They're about what it means to be human rather than to be a human. So I'm trying to link the primal nature of earth or clay to our bodies, which are very similar, to a kind of inner place or inner stillness that's in the work. So I don't expect someone to make a quick read. Hopefully the work allows a dialogue or a quietness a time of conversation someone might have standing with the work or sitting with the work. And I'm hopeful that that dialogue would be one of quietness or a conversation that maybe stills the person. It's a very thoughtful, I hope, experience.